You have to do some likes or something. They know what they are. The kids know what it is. These people know.
Tarun, you will know. They know where to write the questions.
Yeah, the comment box.
Ugly. Ugly. Yeah, that too. I don't like what I see. Okay, let me rephrase that. I hate what I see. I see work for work's sake. I see potential digging itself a nice, comfy little hole. It's almost as if somewhere along the line we decided that this is how the world is supposed to be. People walk past things every single day, and I can't stand the fact that we look but never see. We're all creators, you and I. We're supposed to see things. We can change things, twist form and function, alter perceptions. But the first step to solving any problem is recognizing there is one. Open your eyes and look at the bigger picture. It can be bad, or it can be good. And that is totally up to you.
What is a creator who doesn't create? I just love that. Good evening everyone and welcome to today's session. I'm very excited because we have an extremely special person here with us, and I'm going to, if I may, introduce him. Mr. Sethi doesn't need any introduction, I think, to all of you, but let me try. Mr. Sunil Sethi is the President of the Fashion Design Council of India, which is India's apex body of fashion designers, and he represents, or the FDCI represents, over 400 designers in India. In this role since 2008, Mr. Sethi has contributed vastly to fashion in India and actually individually to fashion designers and to all the fashion students and aspirers in India. Additionally, a lot of commitment I've seen to the handloom and textile industry and the Make in India concept. I think that we all follow you and everything that you do, and I'm sure that our students and parents also do that. You may not know that prior to becoming the President of the Fashion Design Council of India, for close to 30 years, Mr. Sethi has been...
that kind of reveals how long I've been in the business, but yes, 30 years. 30
years. Mr. Sethi has been the Director of Alliance Merchandising Company and Sunil Sethi Design Alliance, which has represented some of the best lifestyle stores around the world, like Habitat, Conran Shop, Selfridges, etc. And he actually spent a lot of years representing these buyers and making sure that the Indian design industry developed itself enough to be able to service international clients. One more thing I want to say and then we'll start. Mr. Sethi has been awarded 3 Lifetime Achievement Awards. That is fabulous. One for product development and design, one for handicrafts, and one for floor coverings. And I think this is just the beginning. What you have really contributed to us and to this fashion design industry has been fabulous. Thank you. Today we're talking to young students and parents who are really wondering what is fashion and what is fashion design, and is fashion really an industry that they can enter into? Is it something where they will make money, have fun, travel abroad, etc.? And I hope that we're going to answer some of these questions. So maybe can we just start off with that straight away and say that what is the fashion design industry and is there a future in it for young people?
So I think the first thing that the student needs to realize is that this is what I want to do in the future. They are so involved these days, not only because of the social media, but they just want to be, everything is about design, designers, fashion. When they finish their school, if they have a party, everybody turns up in something. They're proud to say, this is the kind of a brand I'm wearing. And having Indian fashion designer brands is also a big thing today. And I think, you know, with Pearl, this is what FDCI and Pearl have tried to achieve, is to kind of see that all the big names that we have in our industry in India have gone ahead to your colleges, be it in Mumbai, be it in Jaipur, and especially in Delhi. Every month we've had designers go there, speak to the students, and not students who have already qualified. Students from first year, students from the foundation year, students when they are finishing their projects. I think that sort of thing, you know, makes them realize that the industry that they see from outside is not just a bed of roses, but in order to achieve what you have now and become a big star in fashion, the pains you have to go through. So one thing the students need to know, there is a big future, and that's why you see so many successful people today in the fashion industry, in the Indian fashion industry. But what's important is that there has to be a commitment. So if your parents are telling you to take up science only because they feel that you need to get into becoming a doctor or you have to become an engineer, those days are gone. Because it's all about how creative the person is. Many years ago, 20 years ago, I don't think, I mean, even 15, 20 years ago, there was nobody who was going in for a fashion design degree. People used to wonder, so the 2 or 3 people who decided had to travel abroad to do that. That's not the case now. They had to travel abroad because there were no courses available. People thought you would be a, I'm sorry for using this term, but they thought you would be like a refined darzi, for lack of any word. Those days are gone. Now people go to the designers and feel we've got to respect them a lot. And that's what the student and the parents together in their living rooms, in their bedrooms in the night when they have a discussion, that's what they need to discuss. If the child is creative, only put them in the creative field, because this is what is going to happen in the future. I know of many instances where the parents have decided to send them to a course of their choice, and after 2 years they drop out and get back into fashion. In the past, this was happening a lot. Many people in fashion I know, they were students, they were graduates from Sri Ram College, but they had to give up that education with a degree and come back, and today they are big designers. I don't know if I am allowed to name these people, sure, but if I am, Rajesh Pratap is one such person. Graduate from Sri Ram College of Commerce, and guess what he did? He left that all, went back to went back to a design college and decided to get into this sphere of fashion. So this happened maybe 15 years ago. Maybe there were not enough colleges at that time who were doing this. And today, you know, with many of the institutions coming today, and especially Pearl, in the last few years, the way they have specially concentrated on fashion and churned out many students, it's important for the parents to realize that if that's what my child wants to do, that's where I have to give him from the beginning. Look at me, for example. I'm a graduate from Sri Ram College as well. But what happened?
You're the good example.
But what happened? I'm not doing, you know, I got into a creative field and I realized that fashion is the calling. So only, maybe it happened when my hair turned grey, but the fact is that it's a passion for you. And once it is a passion, there is no going back. So my advice to the parents and the students is, talk to them. If your child is interested in something creative, it need not be just a fashion degree. In fashion, it could be styling. It could be fashion communication. If they are very good with their, instead of doing, let's say, an English honors somewhere, if their writing skills are great, they will be required in the advertising industry, they will be required in the journalism industry, in the fashion magazines. There are so many courses open to them. So have a good discussion, and best is go to Pearl, speak to the faculty, speak to the people there, go to the design college and have a one-on-one over there.
Thank you, Mr. Sethi. I think, yes, parents and students, if you are creative, then a creative college is the best place to be.
True.
Can you talk a little bit about what is the styling? Because people ask that, what is styling, and are there any careers in styling?
You know, this term really didn't exist, and one only heard of styling in movies, for example, in the film industry. So you said so and so is the stylist of a particular film star, for example. And today, every single, I'm not encouraging you to go straight into the film industry, but just to answer your question, the first thing that comes to our mind is stylist of every single actor that exists. So you name an actor and they will have a stylist. They decide the wardrobe. So fashion education gears you up to being a stylist for a celebrity. But let's not only talk celebrity, let's talk serious business. Let's talk about all the epic movies. So today, if one of the big movies comes in with such a historical background, who do they take? They take a stylist and a designer who understands and does enough research. When you've done enough research about costumes, that's what makes you into a designer or a stylist for that. But stylist also comes for all the magazines.
Right.
So you flip all the magazines today and you look at all the styles and you look at all these beautiful people in their beautiful dresses by so and so designer. Guess who's behind that? There is a stylist. Every foreign locale that you choose, whether it's in the country, whether you go to a fort, whether you go to the beaches of Goa, or you travel outside to Maldives or Seychelles or wherever, the stylist is always going there.
Do you know that Asta Sharma, who does Aishwarya Rai, is our alumni?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yes, yes.
But I want to give a stylist a more serious
Absolutely. I
meaning
agree 100%.
than just being a stylist for a Bollywood star. That's fantastic. But I'm saying that you can...
It's in magazines.
It's in magazines.
Yes.
It's in magazines. And look at this. We recently, you know, I know somebody, there is a island that not many people can afford to go to. It's Bora Bora Island. It takes almost more than 2 days to travel to Bora Bora. There is no direct flight. It takes almost 3 or 4 flights just to get to Tahiti and then on to this small island. A stylist goes along with the person where they are shooting, because the waters are so clear, everything is so tranquil, they want to shoot there. So a stylist who has a fashion degree, who has a fashion styling degree, gets on to this and travels to places where lots of big industrialists are not able to. So I'm saying that the opportunity to travel with fashion is great. Also, stylists, you see, you have to understand that every shoot which is done in an advertising agency, so this is where the seriousness comes in, that a fashion designer, if you don't qualify to have your brand name of your own, because it's not necessary that everybody will become the best fashion designer. All the fashion designers need a stylist. And what does that stylist do? The stylist decides to do the editing. They decide which clothes go onto the ramp. They decide what will be the theme of this particular season that they want. So I think he's a very integral part of a fashion designer. So the best designers will have a stylist.
And
so
many designers become stylists also.
And many designers become stylists.
Yeah.
Today we have people from the industry who have decided to become stylists.
Absolutely. I'm just going to take a break. Students, young designers and parents, if you have any questions, you can put them on Facebook or on the website in the comments box. I have started receiving some questions and I will take them after a few more questions that I have for you. What about fashion design? So we see the fashion design that happens like, say, Rahul Mishra, Tarun Tahiliani, where you walk the ramp. What else can a fashion designer do?
I think what's important is you can have your own brand label. So that, of course, is a given. You see all the fashion shows and you see them come at the end and everybody applauds. So all that is really something that everybody wants. But you need not go and do fashion shows, you need not have your own line. It's also possible that, look at the retail industry today. The retail industry is booming. And what happens when the retail industry booms? You come up with mass brands. Mass brands, when a designer is there, he either does prep or he does haute couture. But if he wants to go into a mass brand, he's not able to, because you need very deep pockets for that. You need supply chain logistics. You need the experience of marketing and retail shops all across India. Very few designers have that. But a mass brand then will need fashion designers. So you immediately get a career.
Can you give an example, maybe international or Indian? What do you mean by this mass brand that a designer has?
So, I'm not here to promote anybody, any
Just
kind of brands. But I'm going to give you an example. For example, a Biba.
Okay.
A Biba today has 3 or 4 of our designers who are taking part in it. And they are selling them, if they are selling their clothes for about 2 lakhs, a Biba may, for example, have things under 20,000 rupees from the same fashion designers. And we have 4 designers, So I don't know whether the agreements are still in place, but I know that a Manish Arora, Rohit Bal, Anju Modi have all been part of it. Let's talk about Satyapal.
Yes.
Satyapal is a brand with 100 stores. At least everywhere known and selling all over India and abroad. Guess what they did? Many years ago, they took an Indian fashion designer, Masaba, to do their own line. Today, they have about 25 fashion designers with them who are working behind the scenes to come up with their products. And I know that they are looking for another brand, another fashion designer to come and be their brand ambassador now. So that's a fantastic career. Look at a mass brand like, I respect Kishore Bihani a lot because he says it happens only in India. And I respect him a lot. I may not be going and buying product from his stores, but it doesn't mean that he's not selling. He sells a lot.
Yes,
so he has, when I met him, he says, I have 200 to 300 designers working for him. So that's where a career is. Then Van Heusen, Pantaloon, Wills. I had such a beautiful relationship with Wills Lifestyle. They have many of our fashion designers who will be working with them, and they were stocking 10 to 20 of our fashion designers. You talk about FBB, look at the money that they are spending. It's not easy for a designer to come up with a 800 or 900 rupee range. But a fashion designer can be part of a big industry like this and go ahead and do this. Forget the retail brands, look at Amazon. Amazon is what they have backed us all the way. And guess what Amazon is doing? They are the largest on the online business. And with Amazon backing the fashion industry, there is a scope either to be a fashion designer with them on their labels, or to go and supply them themselves and have your line working with them. Or style for every shoot for theirs. Or when they do the Amazon India Fashion Week, be here to do everything from fashion communication. They can absorb almost everybody, all the students which come here.
And you know that Amazon is very interested in young designers. And there are a lot of discussions that are happening that how can Amazon support young designers and help them possibly to sell their products online.
So I want to tell everybody who's, part of this today and are watching this, that in the last Amazon India Fashion Week, Amazon was very much part of this when the Pearl students, when the final year students came up with their ranges, and there were more than 4 shows that happened, and it was all became a part of the Amazon India Fashion Week. I'm still struggling because I have to sign 600 certificates of merit for them. So I can just tell you that if 600 students are passing, I'm sure Amazon is taking note.
Yes,
I know FDCI is taking note of that.
Well, actually, that's something the look in the eyes of the students, the joy at being able to actually show their collections at the Amazon India Fashion Week. I have never seen anything like that, and it really was much more than anybody expected. Just the feeling of being a part of such a large fashion event, and a special thank you. So please sign those 600 certificates while we're at it.
So just while you're at this, I want to say another thing. It is not just about, so it is for all the parents and the students who want their kids to go into fashion. The thing is that people like Amazon are not only promoting just these 600 students, they are promoting the young fashion designers when they go into this. So, you know, you have to look for talent. We are lucky that we are together in this. But the fact is that there are many people out there who have competitions, many brands out there who want to do this. So I think the scope of a fashion designer, after 4 years of a study at a fashion design college, I think that scope, there are too many lines to get into.
Maybe we'll take some questions, because
Sure.
there's a lot that is coming in, and then after that, if we have time, we'll chat again.
Sure.
Okay. So here's a question from Anchal Arora. What is fashion management? And I'll add to that, does that work or does that make sense?
Yes, but you know, I think, you know, even fashion management, a lot of the fashion designers now, and luxury stores, luxury fashion management. So it is a term where, you know, every designer, they are personally involved in actually designing themselves. They need people to manage all their businesses. So that is a course, it's really beneficial, and I feel that, you know, you could get absorbed into the retail industry. You can get absorbed easily, very easily, with every fashion designer who may have been amongst the best 10 designers of the country. But they will need fashion management students to guide them and help them, not as a student, but to look after the business. So look after the management side of things. But I think even for that, first having the basics of fashion, that is important. That's when going into a college with a fashion degree is important. May I ask you, do you have a fashion management?
Yes, we have an undergraduate pathway in fashion and lifestyle business management, which is a 3-year course, and we have a PG, 2 years, where it's a fashion management, but then the students specialize either in marketing or merchandising. That is for the PG.
Okay,
and these students do really well, because really the industry needs them.
So all over the world, fashion management in many places is a undergrad course. I only knew that it's after you finish your 4 years or 3 years of fashion degree, then you get into a management course. But if you've already started that, so I think that's even giving you a bigger base for many people who, many students don't feel that I don't sketch very well. I'm not very familiar with the sewing machine, and I don't want to end up just making garments. But I'm very much interested in fashion. That's your answer to this. If you don't do this, if you don't have the skills and you don't want to really be a somebody who's good at pattern making, you don't want to go and deal with the tailors, you only want to do the management, this is what it's all about then.
So the way that we have it is, at the undergraduate course is for students like this who are interested in, who are creative, who are interested in fashion, but really want to do something more than that, like run the business, think about the brand, look at merchandising, marketing, etc. The PG courses though are very special, because it's for students who didn't have the opportunity at the undergraduate level. So like we discussed, there are many families where the parents say ki acha theek hai, abhi ke liye just joined you, yeah, English honors karo. Or we have actually students who are dentists, engineers, doctors, because after they do their degree, then they tell their parents ki ab let us do what we want.
Yeah, but you know, I don't even want the parents to waste 3-4 years into doing a college degree if your child wants to get into a creative industry. And we're talking of fashion, but there are many related courses in that. If they want to do product development, for example, if they love colors, they want to get into interior design, they love to do the space design, get into architecture, something which is close to this. But fashion, because I feel that, you know, is a key where all the colors are used. Everything related to, a lot of people who do fashion then go on to do choreography, for example.
Blogging, photography, amazing.
Photography, for example, you don't have to join a special college for photography, because styling, a course in styling will teach you that. In fashion styling, you go out in the market, I know that they will go out.
They do so well nowadays. Yeah.
They do so well because that's what social media is all about. You cannot survive unless you have these skills. I'm sure a lot of the courses you are, your faculty, you tell them the do's and don'ts in blogging, in social media.
No, so the fashion communication students do a lot of blogging, social media, photography, so do the styling. And there are people even who study fashion design who explore. In fact, we have, I don't know, I think you probably know him, Abhimanyu Singh Rathore, who's like the street photographer blogging, and he's being covered. He's doing issues for Vogue and everywhere. So he's a fashion design student, but then as he developed, he realized that what he had was an eye to see. Okay, 1 second, sorry. I think that, I think Anchal and Kuldeep, that probably answered your questions about fashion management or fashion marketing. Can I take one more question here?
Yes, please do.
So there's Priyanka Kamtekar, who says that which course gives you a future in visual merchandising? And I'm going to answer that first, and then you can take it up. So at Pearl, the fashion business course has a vertical in visual merchandising, and also the interior and spatial design has a vertical in visual merchandising. One is approached from the design side, so you're designing the visual experience that there is, and the business students or the management students look at it from the commercial side. That how do you arrange what there is in a store or an exhibition in order to create more sale, or in order to make it good for the person or attractive for the person to buy. Do you think there's a future in visual merchandising?
There is a scope in visual merchandising, and if you're serious about it, there are many jobs available in that. But I personally feel that this could be, just doing a visual merchandising course per se in the beginning. A foundation student is taught about visual merchandising, and over the years, in these 3 or 4 years in doing a fashion course, you will be exposed to visual merchandising. So at the moment, I feel that doing just a specialized visual merchandising course may not be necessary so early in life, having the backdrop of having the basic facilities and the basic knowledge about how the industry works, and being creative in the field will get you in the visual merchandising. This is how I feel.
Yeah. One thing that is special and which works for fields like visual merchandising, which is a crossover between different areas, is when you actually study in a design college. So in the same college, there are students who are doing fashion design, who are doing product design, who are doing interiors, who are doing communication, and you are seeing them all work.
Not only seeing their work, and the students are asking them for their help, because the college encourages you to say, go and find out who can help you in this. And you needn't do the project on your own.
Sometimes we have multidisciplinary projects. So
that's what I mean.
The project is social design. So there are students who are product designers and fashion communication students and fashion designers who are doing it together. So that magic really happens only in a place where all these things are going on.
So just for this question and to give her the right answer, so do you have a visual merchandising course? Because I don't think we...
So there is no course in visual merchandising, but generally it is the students from interior and spatial design or from fashion business management who tend to go into visual merchandising. Here's another question. Anchal, I think, is back. that is fashion design better than fashion management? So Anshul,
I think I've already kind of asked, given the answer to that, Anshul. The thing is that if you're interested, if you're good at sketches, if you're good with and then you feel that, it's interesting how a pattern is made, and if your interest is becoming a fashion designer and being out there creating clothes for people, then, and if you're yourself interested in doing that for yourself or for your families or for a small boutique in your neighborhood or for shops throughout the country, that's, a fashion designer has to then easily realize that this is what I want to do in the future. But if you don't need to do that and you want to go into the management stream, and instead of doing, being a corporate lawyer, for example, for something, and even there yesterday I am surprised, I met one of the top corporate lawyers who said that his daughter wants to get into fashion law. So where will that come from? It will come from a management degree. If they have a management degree, then they could always go ahead and do other things. So as of now, the sky is the limit for fashion management, because there will be so many things available. IPR for one. Intellectual property, nobody is doing it, but unless you go, so if that is your stream you want to take.
And also today, because things like marketing are changing so much, so there's social media that's coming into it, there's a lot of digital PR, there's communication through websites.
Absolutely.
So every customer is different, and the fashion management students really understand the market and decide what is the best way to communicate to the customer. Okay. So now there are two questions for me, if I may. The first question is from Kajal, and I think this is an extremely important question. The question is that, does Pearl give a BA degree, and what are the prospects? So I'm going to try to explain this properly. For the first time, Pearl has been around for 23 years, and our offering has actually got enhanced, and I'm going to explain that to you. So for the undergraduate students, you join Pearl Academy for a pathway of diplomas. This pathway is 4 years for the design courses and 3 years for the business and the media courses. All students are registered for an IGNOU degree. IGNOU doesn't have, as of now, any design degrees. So these are degrees in English, sociology, travel and tourism, BCom for the business students, etc. This is important because this degree allows students to study anywhere further to do their masters in India. In any design college or in any college, the IGNOU degree is valid for that. For those students who want to have an international experience, the last year, when you reach the last year of the Pearl diplomas, we have a facility by which you can transfer out of Pearl into Torrens University, Australia, and do your final year in Australia and get a Bachelor of Design or a Bachelor of Business or a Bachelor of Media. So what this offering really does is, it gives you what Pearl is, what Pearl has been offering for so many years, which is industry exposure, international, etc. You get your IGNOU degree, which is a distance degree, but it is valid for any master's course later. And for those students who want to transfer out and get an international degree, there is a full transfer of credits that is available. So I hope that answers your question, Kajal. There's one more about it, which is, I can't remember, but there's somebody who was asking about what happens for PG. So I just want to touch that also. Our PG diplomas are 2-year pathways, all of them, and they are validated by Domus Academy in Milan. This means that all students have the option of going for 1 month to Domus Academy in Milan, and we have 2 faculty from Domus that come down every year to work with the students. Domus is a fabulous place. They work with the industry, and that really makes it a good match with us. So students who go to Domus, apart from doing classroom work, they get to go out to the industry and really understand what the international context of fashion design and fashion business is. Can I just come back to you now once and say that, do you think it's important to have an international context when one looks at it? Or
I think today, in today's world, it's very relevant because what's important is that, we've got everything, we can have the courses, but having an international exposure is really important. Like I've dealt with your head of design who's come in from Italy.
Claudio or Maurizio? Antonio, I call him Maurizio. Yeah.
Okay, so Maurizio or Antonio. So what's important is Claudio also comes in from
Milan.
Domus, Milan.
Claudio was head of institute at Domus. Yeah.
So he has so much exposure for everything that I don't think that he has. I'm not sure whether there is a student interaction with him, but at least there is a faculty interaction. So I think you need to learn a lot, and today it is all about, teaching the teacher, or, where the fact is that they come and explain things of how it is done out of the country. My personal dealing with Maurizio has been has been very inspiring, because I read recently an article he had written where he says that fashion is a job and it is not a hobby. So that sums it for many of you. Do not consider coming in as a hobby. You have to be serious. So that's what the parents are wanting you to do. If you just feel it's a hobby, the parents will never take you seriously. You have to convince them that this is a profession. This is what you do, what you want to do in the next many years of your life. I think this is one thing. The second thing is, it is not a bed of roses, and you have to really, it is a competitive world out there. In the competitive world, not everybody will be holding your hand. So you will have faculty who will hold your hand, not only while you are in college, but even later on in life. But every step, you have to be confident enough that you are serious, you will be spending the time. I have to say one thing to the students, or to the prospective students of fashion design and their parents. If you feel that a fashion design student studies less than somebody who's preparing for a doctor or a doctorate or being an engineer, you are sadly mistaken. They are actually going to spend as much time in this. So it is not a flippant course where they can do it just whenever they wish to and then party all day and evening and go in for their holidays. It's a serious course. It requires a lot of concentration, lot of study, lot of understanding of this. That's only the key to success. And I think if you want to get into it, the parents have to understand that the student will be getting a lot of knowledge, and knowledge is power, and that is what is going to help your child in growth and getting a very successful future.
Yes, I think that one of the things that happens is that students tend to work a lot, and we even have parents calling in and saying ki hamara bacha sota nahi hai, or what to do. But the joy is that if you're enjoying what you're doing, and if you are a creator, then this is something that you do passionately.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There are quite a few questions which are coming around interior and spatial design and communication design, and today we're going to focus on fashion because we have a very special fashion person here. But you can log on to www.pearlacademy.com or call our toll-free number, and there will be other webinars with people from communication design, product design, etc. But just while we're at it, you're very actually good at some products. Yeah. This is also your area of specialization. So can you talk about fashion products, and is there any crossover in that?
Before I answer that,
the accessories also.
Yeah, before I answer that, I need to tell you a lot about this, that I have been running a buying agency since 1987 and represented many stores from all over the world. When we get inspiration and when the foreign buyers come in, we're looking for young people who are able to help in product design, in product development. in the earlier years, since 87, we couldn't find people. So we always, the merchandiser did the job of a product development person. But things have changed now. With colleges offering these degrees, if you are good in accessories, if you're good with metals, if you're good with glass, wood, leather, you name the product, if you're good with that, there is a job waiting in the merchandising field. We've not touched upon this as yet, but a fashion merchandiser job, a job to be a product developer both in fashion, in craft, in accessories, are all waiting for any buying agencies and export companies. The Ministry of Textile is always talking about how they have to, the government is always talking about Make in India initiatives. The government is always saying grow the export, but every exporter today, they need merchandisers and they need product developers. So be it fashion or be it craft oriented or be it what they call hardline in my trade, everybody is required. So this is one area. So if you don't want to make a brand of your own, there will be many people who will be waiting, and these jobs can get you into a very high position in the big corporate. There are multinational buying agencies today, there are private buying agencies and the thousands of exporters, not just in the big cities. If you come from a small city and you are trained in a big city in a college like in Delhi or in Mumbai or in Jaipur, remember that even back home from where you come, whether it is from the south of India or whether it is from the east of India, there will be a job waiting in all the small cities wherever there is an export potential and a manufacturing potential.
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of students or graduates who go into the export industry. It's a huge industry. You get an opportunity to work with international buyers from around the world.
Right.
And today it's not just that you make the garments as per what the buyer wants. You also have the opportunity to develop lines, show it to them, follow international trends and help them in developing their lines.
In fact, I saw an ad in a leading newspaper in the last 2 days. I've been seeing an ad that Pearl has given, and that ad gives almost 12 people, 10 or 12 people's photographs of all your alumni. And I was quite surprised because I only thought that I only know the fashion designers who were responsible, but there I saw people, as we are talking about, in different agencies, in creative, in export, in merchandising, people who have their own website, own blogs and internet companies. I think that's important, you know, where they are heading different people.
So here's a question, and it's also from, there's a question from Kamna Wadhwa and an alumni. Siddhant, I can make out your number here. They're both talking about fashion, production, consumption and design. Should it be ethical? So Kamna asks that, I would like to create products which are ethical, but do consumers want ethical products? And Siddhant is saying that, how do you educate consumers in a booming economy like India to consume responsibly?
So I'll tell you what FDCI does.
Okay.
We encourage this a lot, and today it is all about, you know, I'll tell you, we recently did something on sustainable fashion.
That's right, over here.
Over here in my premises with 3 designers, we on World Environment Day, on Earth Day. So these didn't exist 10 years ago. Nobody was doing things on Earth Day and Environment Day as fashion is doing today. So people are going in for organic. Where is organic farming happening and what is happening to the end produce? It is only happening because there is a customer out there, be it in buying organic vegetables or buying organic fabric. This is where it is. Look at homegrown, look at khadi, homegrown.
Yes.
When you talk about khadi, we did a big 2 campaigns on I wear handloom and I wear and cotton is cool.
Yes.
Somebody which is all Mrs. Smriti Irani, who had really initiated it. But once you do that, we saw that there were millions and millions and millions of people who wanted to add and say, I'm proud to wear handloom. I'm thankful to to Pearl for partnering us with one of them. And when I say partnering, I meant there was so much support from your students and the faculty that they themselves came in, and there were pictures of you yourself. I thought you wanted to be on social media, so every time you went into your car to work, you said going to the college wearing cotton. So what's important is people are talking about the ethical. So I remember doing a project with 7 years ago. 7 years ago, there were about 12 students who came in from Chelsea College of Art and Design. They came into India and they worked with the students here, and Pearl did a project with them. So maybe at that time they did a workshop at Pearl. What's important is that you started this 6-7 years ago, doing that within, and there was a final presentation in London. Encouraging people to do sustainable many years ago is the way to go. And when you talk about ethical, we have ethical compliances today. So you must know that the world, even if you don't want, and what is the name of the two people?
So one is Siddhant Minocha, he's an alumni, and the other is Kamna Wadhwa.
So I must tell Siddhant one thing, whether you like it or not, the export industry, when a foreign buyer wants to buy into it, and he's a very big name, for example, we work with Anthropology, or we work with bigger brands, none of those brands will ever take anything unless there is a ethical compliance done on the factory. So this is happening. It's just that India is just taking note of it. But we did ethical compliance lectures many years. I'm sure that Pearl will have in its course something on compliances and ethical values. I think so. It's here to stay, and the customer wants it today.
Yeah, okay, super. I think Siddhant, I hope you have your answer, and Kamna. And Siddhant is actually makes scarves, and he sources the scarves ethically from weavers. He works with weavers and develops these scarves, and right now he's on his way to an international competition. He is in the top 3 of that competition, and we hope you do well in there. Thanks, Siddhant. Here's a question from Sanjeev Agarwal. Is fashion design limited to clothing? I know what you're going to say.
Well, essentially I think you could do accessories. Yeah. Look what Siddhant is doing. Absolutely. Accessories is a very big market. You can do, once you have the basic training, once you know textiles, another subject we've not touched is textile.
Oh, yes, it's extremely.
Because it's very important. I know that, for example, my own daughter did not want to do pure fashion designing and do clothing. What did she do? She did a course in textile. When you do textile, you have the scope of then going into fashion clothing if you want. So it's not really restricted only to clothing. You can do handbags, you can do, but having knowledge of the materials which are used, having knowledge about different stitches, cuts, silhouettes, all that is important. Before, I think, we may be running out of time, and we have so many questions to answer. I must say one thing, that there are efforts that the Pearl student takes which go unnoticed. I'm doing something with Tamanna, which is a school for special children and for people with special abilities. Pearl students are helping us in creating garments for those children. They are going to, and those children will walk the ramp. So these are many social service initiatives which are not part of page 3 in that way, but they are part of page 1. Look what you did with Tihar Jail, where the students have done product with them and trained people there. We'll be seeing something together. So I think the parents need to understand that don't be only influenced by the fact that fashion and other things are seen only as glamour and seen on page 3 of a newspaper, which is also very important, because page 3 for somebody like us is really important, and it's not flippant at all. It is giving a pat on the back to say, yes, you have achieved something, because that is the space for lifestyle. So the supplement is very important for us in this industry of creative, because the regular paper may not cover it, but these kind of activities are covered on page 1, they are covered in the main papers, they are everywhere. So I think that's really important for the parent to know that the student does serious product as well.
So maybe while we're talking about page 3 and page 1, I'd like to just talk about 2 projects that I saw recently in the last week. So one is that a student of ours who's graduated this year has developed a range of garments for people who can't see. So using different textures in different parts of the garment, the tag that actually talks in Braille about how the garment was made, what the colors are. So in order to give the person who can't see the ability to experience shopping and experience the beauty of choosing and wearing a garment.
So you see, this is where the faculty which comes from abroad, this is where they bring in these ideas. So it is not a new idea for the world, but it is a new idea for India. So I think that is really important, having a lot of interaction with people abroad, sending the children outside our country to study. I think going there, if Pearl gives them the opportunity of travel in 4th year or 3rd year outside to different colleges, if you do that,
so
I think
actually all our undergraduate students have the opportunity of to go for a semester abroad, a month abroad, or 2 weeks abroad. And this is apart from if you want to transfer out to do your entire final year.
So is it based on, do you have to top your class to be able to?
You have to apply for it. We have MOUs with more than 40 colleges around the world, so you may not get necessarily the college you opt for. So suppose there are 18 people who are opting for a semester exchange with London College of Fashion, there may be only 6 for that, but there are 6 for different. So you can get access to whichever one. And one more project I want to talk about, because this girl has really put her entire heart into it. There are clothes available for physically disabled people and people in wheelchairs, but we have a student who actually said that these are ugly and there's nothing nice about it, and so somebody who is in a wheelchair doesn't feel like beautiful when they go out, and why not? So she's developed a line, Tavleen Dingra is her name, she developed a line of garments for people who are living in wheelchairs. So the way that you put the garment on, the way that the garment is zipped up and beautiful.
So Fashion Design Council of India will be very happy because they collaborate with Tamanna for this.
That's right.
And there are many students on wheelchair. So we will be having a big show about this sometime in the month of August, and we'll be very happy in case Tavleen is able to come and design some clothes for the specially able children there.
Here's a question from Yukti Sharma. Maybe you can answer it. It's a question that, please tell us something about luxury brand management. So we have a course, I don't know whether you know, both at the undergraduate and the postgraduate levels. This is again, the PG one is with Domus Academy, and the UG students get to go to Naba and Milan for a month, servicing the luxury industry. So
I know that this course didn't exist in the past with people here, because luxury was a very new and a concept that didn't really touch many people. But in the last few years we've seen that everybody feels that there is a big scope. If you know, look at all the foreign brands that are coming here. Some of them may not be top luxury, maybe premium brands, but to many Indians they are still part of luxury. And luxury is what is, you know, it's aspirational then. And I think what's important is that there are many people out there who want to study to be able to go there. When a luxury brand comes into India, what is their first criteria? In an interview, the first thing they see is, do you have knowledge of fashion or do you have knowledge of luxury? Do you know anything about how a customer needs to be informed when you are behind the desk or when a customer approaches you? A luxury brand management teaches you all that. I know that many of the people I know, and when the parents were coming with their wards asking me what they should do, the only place I was recommending them was to go to Paris or to Italy to study luxury brand management. And if Pearl has a course like that, they needn't do that. If they really want, they could do a specialized course in the summer vacation there. But this has a lot of future in India because brands are coming in by the day. And not only this, the Indian brands.
Absolutely.
You know, in the past we had no luxury brands. Today we have jewelers who say, I'm a luxury brand, which is selling all over the world. And there are...
And not only jewelers, luxury is also about travel, luxury is about hotels, luxury is about cars, luxury is about cruises. It's about having the luxury experience. And our students who've done this are doing really well. And like I said again, they go out into Milan to understand what luxury is and what the luxury consumer is, because the luxury consumer is much more than I am anyway, and they need to be treated that way and understood. Because they're spending a lot of money on it.
So bespoke and couture are two places where this brand, this person is just right. You pick up any magazine today, you will see watches, which is part of luxury. Every single brand has come into India. And who do they need? You see these big showrooms selling watches with from 3 lakhs to 20 lakhs to even more. Cruises, you know, people are sending planes, yachts. Where is the person who is selling that? The person who has to sell that has to have some basic education in luxury. So I'm really happy that this course exists with you.
When you're talking about yachts, we have a student who did a project on, I can't remember the name of the yacht company, obviously I'm not so good at luxury, but she did a project and created a book selling a yacht company in Amsterdam, and they actually took her there. They took her back to Amsterdam with her work. They showed her around the entire office and around their products, and they kept her work as a good example of what has been done. Okay, I'm getting quite a few questions about the academic model, so let me try and answer that. I'd like to say this again, but all information is available on the website. Pearl Academy offers a pathway of diplomas. This is 4 years for design and 3 years for business and journalism. When you join Pearl Academy, we will also register you into an IGNOU degree. IGNOU doesn't have any design degrees, so the degrees available are in English, sociology, travel and tourism, economics, BCom for the business students, etc. And we hope that you will finish the IGNOU degree while you are at Pearl. Why this degree is important is because this degree allows you to study further anywhere at any time in India to do your masters. There's a question from Shreya which talks about, can you take admission in NID after this? So if you go to the NID website and look at eligibility criteria, or if you go to the NIFT prospectus page 19 and look at the eligibility criteria, it says that any student who has done any degree can apply to do masters, because we just started having an undergraduate degree in all our colleges, in colleges in India. So this IGNOU degree with the Pearl diplomas makes you eligible to study anywhere in India to do your masters in design or business or journalism, as the case may be. For those students who want to get an international degree, we have a special arrangement with Torrens University in Australia. For this, a student can, in the final year, transfer out of Pearl Academy into Torrens University, Australia, do your final year in Australia and get a Bachelor of Design or a Bachelor of Business or a Bachelor of Media and Communication, depending on the course that you're doing there. This is an international degree, and with this degree you can do your masters anywhere in the world. We will give enough of counseling to students and parents and help you make the right choice. There are some students who will want to go abroad for the final year. There are other students who will be happy with the international exposure that you already get at Pearl, and you don't need to go abroad for that
is
final year.
Is this a new arrangement?
This is a new arrangement because what is special about this is it's allowing students to get an Indian UGC approved degree, all of them, and for those who want an international degree, it's allowing to get a full transfer of credits out of Pearl Academy into Torrance University, and we have a special scholarship of 40% for Pearl students at Torrance University, Australia. I think this is a great opportunity because really it allows us to do everything and offer the student everything that Pearl has ever offered. The industry projects, the internships, the fabulous faculty, the multidisciplinary learning, all that is possible in this, along with an Indian degree and an opportunity to get an international degree if you should so want. Can I ask you one more question?
Please.
And this is my question, not from here. But I saw in the newspapers recently that you were given an award for being a game changer in fashion. So can you tell us what is a game changer and what made you really think, do you think you have been a game changer, and what made you take up this challenge? You have to say yes, you have been a game changer.
I can answer every question, but when it comes to questions to me on something like this, a game changer, you know, I'm going to say that this is a new industry. So I'm going to say Andho mein Kana Raja, which is a very strong statement to make, but really there were not enough people in the industry. So the fact is that all you students, the time that you are coming in, by the time it will be very difficult, and there will be so many of you doing beautiful products and so many things in the fashion industry, it's happening. When I started 10 years in, many years ago in fashion, when I took up the challenge to be part of FDCI, I have a lot of support from my team at FDCI. They have stuck with me for 10 years. They have been very important. They knew everything that is going on. They've done wonderful work. So a lot of this is possible because of them. And a lot of these things are possible to make the changes because of the fashion designers who backed me. Right from my board and right from every other new kid on town, from the people who are established, from the designers who are emerging. It's all possible because every move I make is with their backing. We have revived many age-old techniques. So people think it's game-changing, but really it is something that was expected because nobody else was doing it. The Indian fashion designer did it. Banaras. If Banaras became the flavor of the season, guess what happened? Everyone started to come up with more very beautiful products. To be part of Make in India, to do shows there. We even took Banaras to Bahamas.
Wow.
When the president of a country comes in, for the African presidents, their wives need to see something what India is all about. We put up a special show for that. When Make in India does a show in Mumbai for the world to see and for India to see that we've arrived, who does that? The fashion designers and the people. And I, because I've been head of the FDCI, got the opportunity to be in the limelight. So really the game changer for me has been the FDCI team and the FDCI fashion designer and everybody in the industry who has helped me. It's just that somebody has to take the initiative, and I did so over the years. And also when you start with almost a zero, you only go higher. And that's what happened in the industry, that many years ago, we were not really selling in an organized way. I remember coming into the business and people didn't even know how to put a care label is not what was put. If they went abroad, if they were doing trunk shows. And now we are selling with our Indian fashion, with their own brand names, they are selling all over the world. So things have evolved. And heading the industry at this time and being the president gave me the opportunity to experiment with more and more things. So fortunately I got this tag, and I'm proud that, it does feel good when you get a pat on the back. But like I said, the whole industry has been a game changer. But the student who comes in will already, all the hard work of having a basic platform is already made. So it is much easier for you. So that's why I'm encouraging. It was more difficult to get into the fashion degree 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Not right now. So I would encourage more and more people in it now and take it forward.
Thank you. I also would like to add to that and say that for me you're a game changer because you inspire so many people. Because I see young people watching you, listening to you, and really that, I don't know whether possibly designers are all very busy and they all have their own work to do, but you're able to bring one voice to the industry and talk about that. So for us, definitely you're a game changer, and I'd like to take this opportunity, because we're running out of time a little bit, to say thank you very much. It's been 1 year.
Yes,
we have
a beautiful relationship.
Collaboration with the FTCI. It has been amazing. Our students have had a great experience. I have a long list of designers who visited us in that time, from Rahul Mishra, Anavila, Suket, Manish, Pankaj and Nidhi, Wendell. The experience that students get from really listening to the masters and hearing what the masters have to say about that work, there is nothing like that. And faculty too have said that they have benefited because they can really discuss what it is, what are the changes that are happening, and I know you're planning a master class for our faculty also.
Yes, we have to do a master class for the faculty, and with that, we'll have the best in the industry over here working alongside to see. I don't know how we'll be able to give more information to the faculty, but I think every information is important.
Yes, every information, every insight into the future and the future of fashion is important. It's important for all of us. There are still more questions coming in, but we have to wind up for now. But whatever questions you leave in the comment space, we'll either have them answered by somebody at Pearl, or if it's something about you, maybe we can get somebody from the office to get those answers.
I'd be happy to interact. I interact a lot with students and parents, and I always encourage them to take up a creative course for the children if they want to. It's what India needs, so you cannot deprive India from this.
Yeah, cannot deprive India and cannot deprive young people from really going out and doing what they think is important. And remember once again that don't let your marks judge you. Don't let anybody judge you. You believe in yourself. Look at Mr. Sethi here, and this belief and the belief that we have in him, really he's gone out and changed the industry. So,
thank you.
Game changer. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.